like Illustrator lesson. We're going to start off by just working down the instructions. I have my instructions right next to me, so I'll be doing every step and you can just follow along the way. So we're going to start off with number 1, which is making like a little house shape looking rectangle. We start off by clicking on the rectangle tool, and we want to double click on the artboard twice, and then we can put in our exact measurements right here. It's 1.5 inches width and 1 inch height. Click OK. And we want to have a no fill on this one, so mine is already no fill and then just a blue stroke. If this one would come looking like this, then just click, when you have this one on top, you click right here and then you click on the stroke and just choose a stroke for it. So we want to have no fill in this one. So I'm going to move this one to the center. We're going to add an anchor point. Anchor points are usually used as an end point, a start point and an end point. This rectangle comes with 4 anchor points. I'm going to show you where you can see those. There you go. So you can see the blue stroke, and you can see 4 small little boxes in the corners. That's our anchor points. If you hover over them, you can also see that it's called anchor. So this is the path and this is the anchor. We're going to add an anchor right in the middle right here, up here, to later on pull it up and make a little roof. So to make sure that we are in the center, we're going to drag our little ruler right here. You can place anchors on the rulers, but for us not to do it for this assignment, we can lock them and make sure that it doesn't get too messy. We can go to guides and then lock guides. So that means that we can move the guides. We can't. I think you can't place anything on the guides either. Let's make sure that hide guides ruler. Yeah, I think we're all set. So we're gonna place an anchor point right in the middle, right where it says. So it's got to show path. Don't place it where it says intersect. It will make the assignment work. So we get as close as possible to the ruler, but not for it to say intersect. Click once on path. Oh, kidding. We gotta choose. Okay, so first go to selection tool, mark this one, select that one. You see that selected by the middle black, more darker line. You hold down on the pen tool, which says add anchor point tool, and there we go. And then we go and add it. You see that our pen tool has like a little plus sign at the bottom, and that means that we're adding an anchor point. If it would have a little minus, that means we're deleting one. We want to add one. So add one right there, and there it goes, our little blue box. For us to be able to pull it up 0.75 inches, as the instruction says, we need to go to the black arrow, which is our selection tool. We will zoom in a little again to make sure that we are on our path. You hold down Command, and then you can see our little anchor right there. So the brighter little box is not our anchor point. It's just the middle of the two, the start and the finish point. We want to make sure we locate the blue anchor point. You can do that by holding down Command, and there it pops up. So this is our anchor point. So we click once, hold down Command still, and then we just pull it up. And then we can zoom out a little bit because we need to pull it up 0.75. So you hold down Command, and then we pull it up 0.75. And you can use the ruler as a guidance, that you pull it up straight. So you pull it up 0.75, and then we let go. And there we go. So I just deselected the triangle, and then there we have our little house. So that's the first step. Or shape number 2, we're going to use the same box or same house as we did in the first time. So we're going to click once on it with the selection tool. We're going to copy, so Command C. Go over to our little number 2 over here. Click once, so we don't have it over here. And I'm going to Command V, which is paste. I move it right up here. I'm using the selection tool to move it around. Stuff like that. You got to make sure you click on the path, like on the stroke. You can't click in the middle and do anything because there isn't anything in the middle because we don't have any fill. So you just move around like this, and then we're gonna go. So we're practically doing the same thing as we did in the first one, where we're just doing a different different way. So we're going to start off with using the direct selection tool. So the selection tool is the black one, direct selection tool is the white one. The white arrow, so we select that one, click once. We're going to delete this path and then this path, but we're not going to delete the anchor points. So to delete just the path, we click once. We double click on the path we want to delete, and then we click delete, and then that one disappears. But you can see that the anchor points are still intact, and that's what we want to do. So you deselect this one by clicking just anyone on the screen, and then we do it again. So we double click on the path we want to delete, and then delete. So if you don't deselect from the first path we deleted, if you double click all over here once, it will delete. Oh yeah, delete again. But if it deletes the whole thing, you just go back and try to double click again on the path you want to delete. And now we're going to click once on the anchor point. We're going to go over to the selection tool. We're going to double click on the selection tool so a little box pops up. We're going to put in the information that's on the instructions on the canvas. So it's on the horizon, it's 0. We're going to put in minus, it says minus 1.25, so minus 1.25. Here it has 0.186, and here it is minus 90. So we click OK, and then that one pops up. It pops out 1.25 inches from the rest of the box. So it's a little shorter distance than the first one we did. So now we're going to connect these paths to this one and to this one. So we deselect the anchor point, and we're going to go to the direct selection tool. We're going to click on the last anchor of that one, and then we're going to hold down shift because we're going to mark the top anchor point as well. You see that the ones we have marked is filled in blue, and the ones we have not yet marked are white. So we're going to go up to Objects, and then Path, and Join. And then these two will join. So we'll do the same thing with these points as well. So deselect, we click again on the top one, and then hold down Shift, and click on this anchor point. We go to Object, Path, Join. And there we go. This is our little house. So it's a little different from the first one, but it's practically the same result. It's just a different way to do it. And then this is step number 2. Step number 3, or shape number 3 we're going to do. We're going to start off by making a 1.5 times 1 inch rectangle. So we go to the rectangle tool. I'm going to double click the artboard and then put in 1.5 and then 1 inch. Click OK. Here's our rectangle. We're going to make sure there's no fill. So we just click, we can also click we'll swap fill and stroke button here, and it will switch the fill to the stroke one. We're going to change the fill. We're going to change the stroke to like a little more happier color, blue. We're going to put the rectangle in the center of our screen. And we're going to make a little house again, but we're going to make it a little different, in a different way. So we are going to click on the rectangle tool right over here, and we're going to hold down our Option Alt key, and we're going to go, first we're going to pull a ruler to the middle so we know where the middle is. So you can click on the selection tool. We click once on the stroke to make sure that we know where the middle is. So we'll drag our little ruler right here and place it in the middle, right there. And then now we're going to go to the rectangle tool, click once, hold down Option Alt, and click right at the top where the ruler is as well. Click once, and here we're going to enter 1.05. 1.05 width, 1.05 height. Click OK, and here's our next little rectangle. So you see that this one doesn't have any fill yet, so we can just click once on here so we make sure this one is on top. Click right here, and it has the same stroke as the rectangle in the background. And now we're going to double click the rotation tool. Rotation tool is over here. Double click it and make sure that this one is selected. So just the top rectangle is selected. We're going to enter 45 right here. Click OK. And then we're going to go to the selection tool. We're going to mark everything. We're going to deselect the ruler. So just hold down Shift and click once on each ruler. That ruler is left from the first step of the assignment. And then we're going to go to Pathfinder. I already have Pathfinder up because I used it in another assignment, but if you don't have it up, you go to Window and go down to Pathfinder. We're going to hold down our Option Alt key, and we're going to click on the first little button on Pathfinder. Boom. And that takes away the inner two lines right here. And if we have the selection tool, we just click somewhere else on the screen, and then this is our little house. You can drag it somewhere over here. And there we go. To create house number 4, we're going to use the polygon tool. We have the polygon tool underneath the rectangle tool, so you just scroll down right there. You double click on the artboard to get that little pop-up screen. Here we're going to enter 6 sides, and the radius is going to be 0.866. 866. There we go, and click OK. We're going to make sure this one doesn't have a fill, so we just click the little 2 arrow button here, which switches the fill and the stroke. We don't want any fill working with any of these houses. And now we're gonna, with this one selected, with the polygon selected, we're gonna double click the rotation tool, and we're gonna enter an angle of 30 degrees, and then OK. With the pen tool, we're gonna delete the bottom anchor point. The delete anchor point tool you find underneath the pen tool. So you'll just hold that one. So with that one selected, you see that it has a little minus symbol underneath the pen tool. So we're going to click once down here on the anchor point. You'll see that a little anchor point text pops up. Click once and it deletes that anchor point. Now we're going to go over to the direct selection tool, and we're going to select the bottom 2 points. You do that by clicking once here and then hold it in Shift. There we go. And you can see that these 2 are marked now because the little box is filled. These are not marked at all because they're white. So we're going to hold down our Shift, and then we're going to drag it down. Oh, got to mark both of these. You don't hold down the Shift when you drag it down, so you just drag it down. Let's see how it's 0.5. And there we go. And now we're going to go back to the direct selection tool. Make sure you have the white arrow selected. We're going to select these 2. So we're first going to deselect it because we already had these 2 selected. So we're just going to deselect the whole thing. Now we're going to select these 2 anchor points. Click once here and hold down Shift and click on the other. You release the Shift button, and now you just click on one like you hold it down. And then you just drag it down. We're going to drag it down 0.25. And there we go. There's our little 4th house. 5 is going to be another little house, and we're going to start off by using the polygon tool. You'll find that one underneath the rectangle tool and scroll down to polygon tool. Click anywhere on the screen, double click, so this little pop-up screen pops up. Add radius 125 inches, 1.25 inches, set in 3 sides. Click OK. Make sure that this one does not have a fill, and it does not. It only has a stroke. I'm going to move this one a little bit down so we can see what we're doing. Okay, and now we're going to go with this one selected. We're going to go to Object, Path, Add Anchor Points. We are going to go to the Direct Selection tool, which is the white arrow. We're going to select this anchor point, hold down Shift, and this one. And now we're going to go up to Object, Path, Average. And then make sure that vertical is selected. Click OK. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So click once on this path, hold down Shift, and anchor. So when I said path, I meant the anchor point. So click once on this anchor point, hold down Shift, and then click this one too. So we have these 2 selected. Object, Path, Average, Vertical. So not both, or horizontal. Boom. And then we're going to delete this bottom point right here. We go to the pen tool, and then delete anchor point tool. We click once on the anchor right here. You can see the text will pop up. Click there. We have that one deleted. We're going to select the top anchor point. All right, right now we're using the delete anchor point tool, so we don't want to accidentally delete that one. So click on the white arrow. I'm going to select that one. See that this is selected because this is a filled little square, and these are not filled, so they're not selected. So with this one selected, this anchor point selected, we're going to double click the direct selection tool in tool panel, which is over here. Double click it. We're going to enter 0 right here, and then we're going to enter minus 0.19, and then we're going to click OK. And then with the direct selection tool, we're going to click on the right side of the house and drag it towards the center until the roof line smooths out. So we're going to just click on that one, hold down, and then you can hold down Shift so you don't like move it around like this. So if you hold down Shift, it moves in a straight line. It's going to make it a little more smoother, and the same with this one. Hold down your mouse and hold down Shift so it doesn't move all the way all around the screen. Hold down Shift and then move it in a little bit. And deselect it, click V, and then click anywhere on the screen, and there we go. There's our fifth little house. The little house, and we're going to use the polygon tool to make it. You'll find the polygon tool underneath the rectangle tool. So we're going to scroll down, click on the polygon tool, click once or twice on the artboard. We're going to enter 0.85 inches and 3 sides. Click OK. We're going to delete the bottom path right here. So we go to the direct selection tool. We double click, deselect, and then double click. Make sure that we only have this one selected. Command X, which is you cut something out. So we're going to paste it down here, which is Command V. We're going to move this path into place right below the half triangle we have. We're going to join these 2 points, and we do that by first selecting one of them, holding down Shift and selecting the other. Go to Object, Path, and Join. Do the same thing on the other side. Click on this anchor point, hold down the Shift key, and click on the other anchor point, Object, Path, Join. So we want to move, this looks like a little church right now, so we want to make it look like, a little more like a house. So we're going to click once on this anchor point, and then hold down Shift and click on this anchor point, and we're going to move it up 0.275 inches. And then we just move it 0.27-ish. There we go, and here's our little house. The polygon tool again, so we have that one again underneath the rectangle, and then polygon tool. We click once or twice on the screen. We're going to enter 0.866 radius, 866 radius, and with 3 sides, and click OK. We're going to make sure this one doesn't have a fill, so we want to switch to fill with a stroke right there. We're going to click on the rectangle tool, which is right over here. We're going to click exactly on the lower left point, which is this one over here. Make sure you can deselect that one. Click on the rectangle tool, and then we're going to click here. You can see that the anchor name popped up. So we're going to click on this one, and then we're going to enter 1.5 times 1. Click OK. And then with the direct selection tool, we're going to mark these 2 lines because they're overlapping. I think we need to deselect. Okay, so first we need to deselect the rectangle that we just made, and then we drag right here in the middle. We're going to delete them. Just click delete. And then we're going to use the direct selection tool again. We're going to drag a marquee around the upper left corner points, which is these, I assume. Yeah, because this is part of the rectangle we created, and this is part of the triangle we created. So they're 2 different shapes right now. As you can see, I can drag these apart, and we want to connect them together. So use the direct selection tool. We drag a marquee around these points right here. I'm going to go to Object, Path, and Join. Okay, the computer might have thought, oh yeah, it's not direct select tool yet. We can move this one up a little bit so the computer sees that it's 4 different anchor points. Select those, and now you can see that those are all 4 selected. So object, path, join. Don't know why this is working right now. Oh, we need to do it the points separate. Click once on this anchor point, shift hold down. Can't really see the other. Shift hold down, and then we can join them. There we go. Do the same thing on this one. Click once on this anchor point, hold down shift, and then object, path, join. There we go. And here's our little house. We can drag this the top point down if you want. If you don't want a pointy house, you can just hold it, and then you can hold down shift too, so you can move it, so it moves in a straight vertical line down. And then you release. And there we go. There's our 7th house. 8. And we're going to start off by choosing the rectangle tool, the toolbar right here, and we click once or twice on the artboard. Put in width 1.5 inches and height 1.75. Click OK. Make sure it has no fill, which it has not. Make sure it has a stroke on that one. I'm going to move it a little bit more in the middle of the screen so we can see what we're doing. Now we're going to delete the top path. So we go to direct selection. Make sure that we have only the top line selected and click delete. And now we're going to add some anchor points. So we go to object, path, add anchor points. We are going to go to the pen tool and click on delete anchor point tool. Going to delete the bottom anchor, the middle bottom anchor point. There we go. And then we're going to go to direct selection tool. We're going to put these together so it creates a little top triangle head. So you're going to mark those two, so you can either select them by dragging and marking them, or by clicking on one of them, holding down shift key and marking the other. So we've got object, path, average, and then we do click, let's see, there's no instruction on which one you're supposed to click, but I think it's on both. There we go. So now we have our little house, and we're not done yet. We're going to grab these 2 anchor points, hold down shift key and that one, and then we're going to drag them into position up 1.125. So we have them both selected, and then we just pull them up to 0.25. And there we go. Deselect. And there we have our house number 8. Number 9. We're going to start off by dragging out a vertical guide. We have our guides over here. We are going to put it right somewhere in the middle. And then we want to change these guides and the guide numbers. We want to move the 0 to where we have our guide. So you do that by clicking over here, holding down, and then clicking your shift key, and then you see you have all these dotted lines, so you place that one on top of your guide and then let go. So now you see that the 0 is right where we have our line, our ruler. And the 0 is also over here. Okay, so the next step, we're going to take the pen tool. We're going to click on the guide at the ruler 0 point, which is right here and right there. So you can see where this line is, where the pen tool is on the line by this little dotted line over here. So we pull it up so it's on 0. Click once here, and then we right click to deselect the pen tool. Kidding. We click on our V, which is our selection tool. Click V once and deselect. Click on the pen tool again. We have our anchor point over here, but that one will be here for a little bit. We're going to hold down shift, and we're going to place our second anchor point at 0.75 inches down and 0.75 inches to the left. So if you hold down your shift key, you can see that these numbers pop up. So we're going to place it at 0.75 inches on the X and 0.75 inches on Y. Keep it there we go. Place 1 right here. And then we're going to go down 1 inch and place the third anchor point 1 inch down. There we go. And if you click V again, okay, we want to connect these points just to the line right here. Click our 4th anchor point right here. Click V, go over to the pen tool again, click on this anchor point up here. We want to connect it to the one we placed here in the beginning. There we go. Click B again to deselect. And I just realized I don't have a stroke on this one, so I'm just going to add a stroke to the line so we can see it. Now we're going to use the reflect tool. And the reflect tool is somewhere over here, I think. There we go. It's underneath the rotate tool. Click on the reflect tool. We want to mark all these first, maybe. Okay, so we drag and select all of this and deselect the ruler. And we're going to click on the reflection tool. And we are going to option alt click on the guideline. So option click, guideline. Not really what I thought. There we go. Vertical. Click on vertical up here and copy. And there we go. We can move this ruler out of the way because we don't need it anymore. Gonna zoom in a little bit. And move up. And we're gonna join these because there's 2 anchor points right here and there's 2 anchor points down here. We're gonna connect these. So we select both of those. Go to object, path, join. And then we have 2 down here too somewhere. Object, path, join. Oh, they might have joined. Oh, there we go. They both joined the first time we did it. And there we go. It's our 9th house. So save all these to turn in for the assignment for this week. So you can have a little number next to each little house and it'll be easier for us to grade it. Thank you guys for watching.